Hello everybody and welcome to an ESO Guides video on armor skills. Today we're going to be talking about armor and armor skills, so let's get in and get right to it. So each type of armor has different passive abilities and a different skill for each armor type. We're going to go through each one, starting with light armor. Now the light armor gets an ultimate ability, or not an ultimate ability, but it gets an ability, and that ability is Annulment, which surrounds yourself in a net of magic negation to absorb up to X spell damage over 6 seconds. So it absorbs spell damage, not physical damage, spell damage. Now the great thing about this is that it is built on based on your max Magica. So the more max Magic you have, the greater the shield is going to be, and depending on that, it will depend on your morphs as well, because they increase based on the amount of light armor that you've equipped. So dampen magic, the amount of damage absorbed is increased by 6% for each piece of light armor equipped. So you're going to get 6% for one, and if you have 5 pieces, you're going to get 30% increase. So it's going to become a more powerful damage absorption shield for magic-based damage. Then you have Harness Magica, which absorbs magic based on the number of light armors equipped. So you're going to get Magica back for using it. Now this is a great one to use for a magic damage dealer, because you're going to get that Magica back that you're getting hit with. So it's really beneficial to use this, but it's not something I would necessarily run if your class has a damage shield, because your damage shield from your class will always be better. This one is also really good as well if you're not using sword and board and you want to get an extra damage shield on your character to absorb spell damage. So either one of these you can go with. The first passive you get, which is Evocation, it reduces the cost of Magica abilities by 3% per piece of light armor equipped. Now a lot of things you're going to see, I'm going to tell you now, is you're going to see this thing when you have 5 or more items equipped. Now the reason why it says 5 or more is because you're going to do an armor thing where you're going to wear 5-1-1. Now, I wouldn't suggest doing this, but it is really important if you do. I'm not going to tell you you have to do it, but it is a choice. So if you do equip 5 pieces of light armor, 1 medium, 1 heavy, you're going to get another bonus from a thing called Undaunted Metal, which will give you 6% stats when you get it maxed out. So, and we'll talk about that when we get to talking about the guild skills, which is going to be in a much later video down the road. But actually, it's going to be in this list of videos, so you guys can watch that. Next one is Recovery, which increases your magic recovery by 4%. So 20% if you have 5 or more pieces, and for each piece of light armor equipped, you get that 4%. So it allows you to go for greater magic, like your resource management with Magica. Light armor gives you the best. Spell Warding increases your spell resistance for each piece of light armor equipped. It pretty much gives you the same what heavy armor does, and we'll get to that in a minute. You guys will see the actual number value. Prodigy gives you increased spell critical. Now you have to have 5 pieces equipped to get this, and basically it gives you 10% spell critical. Then you get Concentration, which increases your spell penetration by 4,884. Now they are the only ones in the armor types who get an extra penetration to their because of their armor type. So that is a benefit from wearing this armor. Now, it doesn't give you, your weapon, like using a staff, doesn't give you reduced cost of your Magica abilities. So getting that extra spell penetration gives you greater spell damage also. So that's the trade-off. Medium armor is if you want to be like stamina DPS and stuff, you're going to wear medium armor. Or if you want to be a medium armor tank, you can wear that. Light armor, the same thing. If you want to get greater Magica resources and stuff, you can tank in light armor to give you that, or you can use light armor for damage. And then the same thing with medium armor. Now, medium armor gets Evasion as its skill, and Evasion is basically, it allows you to dodge. Now remember, this Evasion is changing with the next update. It's going to 15% instead of 20%. But basically it allows you to dodge without dodge rolling. So you get dodge, an active dodge continuously, and it doesn't trigger except for a 15% chance. So, and it can happen quite often, honestly, but it's not something that I would suggest you need unless you are in medium armor. or you're wearing light armor, or you're wearing heavy armor, you can use evasion. It makes your character get that greater ability to mitigate damage. Now, there is two morphs, Shuffle and Elude. Shuffle, shroud yourself in a mist to gain major evasion, which increases your dodge chance, of course, and then while wearing medium armor, removes and grants immunity to snare effects, increasing your snare immunity duration by 0.5 seconds for each medium armor equipped, up to 3.5 seconds. So if you're wearing 5 pieces of medium armor, this is going to be really good for you. It does cost a lot of stamina, but remember, if you're wearing 5 pieces of medium armor, you're going to have a reduced stamina cost. Elude is another good one. Gain additional duration for each piece of medium armor equipped, so your duration is going to increase by 5% for each piece equipped. So you can get this up there pretty high using Elude. This is better for somebody who's playing DPS than it is somebody playing a tank. Somebody playing a tank, Shuffle is going to be better because you're going to get that chance to break immunity or gain immunity from snares and stuff, allowing you to break free from stuff without breaking free. You're going to be able to use this instead. So that is a benefit. Now, we're getting into the passives, which the first one is Dexterity, which increases your weapon critical for each piece of medium armor equipped. Now, wearing 5 pieces of this will only give you an 8% increase. And that's because you're going to get increases other places as well. But it gives you 8% increased weapon critical, which is pretty good. Now, if you wear all 7 pieces, you will get 10%, almost 8.5% or 10.5% extra critical. So that's a choice you can make. The next one is Windwalker, which increases your stamina recovery by 4% for each piece of medium armor equipped, and also reduces the stamina cost of abilities by 3% for each medium armor piece equipped. This is something you're going to want to max out as quickly as you can because of that reduced cost and that increased stamina recovery. Reducing the cost of things is super beneficial to you because the more you have, the greater you get. Now remember, if you're using melee weapons, you're going to get that 20% reduced cost or that 10% reduced cost depending on the melee weapon, which gives you greater reduced cost wearing medium armor, so you're going to get 35% reduced cost, which you can get up to 40% reduced cost, making them even more effective for you. So just remember that. On top of that, you get improved sneak, which isn't something that's super important, but just we'll run through it. Reduces the cost of sneaking by 7% per piece of medium armor equipped. Also reduces the size of detection area by 5% per piece of medium armor equipped. Now remember how I told you that the Nightblade and the Wood Elf get the increased cost when I talked about races? They get that increased sneaking capability or detection radius, and then they get increased critical damage or increased damage when they attack from stealth. Medium armor really helps them with that. On top of that, they get agility, which increases your weapon damage by 12%. Now, it's really important to remember that 12% because that's weapon damage. Total weapon damage is increased by 12%. Now, think about this. If you're playing a DK in medium armor doing poison damage, you're not only getting that 25% weapon damage and 6% for using dual wield, but you're also getting 12% on top of that, so you gain a massive weapon damage potential that way, allowing you to do more damage to your enemies in medium armor. So you get greater weapon damage in medium armor. On top of that, you get athletics. Now this one is really cool because it increases your movement speed while using sprint and reduces the cost of dodge rolls. So it increases your movement speed while using sprint and reduces your dodge rolls by 4% per piece of medium armor equipped. But you have to wear 5 or more pieces to get this bonus. And what it does is it gives you a 20% dodge roll reduction, which means that you get to dodge roll at a reduced cost, which means you can dodge more attacks every 6 seconds at a reduced cost. Now, the reason I say every 6 seconds is because you're not going to continuously dodge roll because they added this thing to dodge rolling, that the more you dodge roll, the more expensive it gets, unless you wait 6 seconds afterwards for the timer to wear off to where you can dodge roll again. So it is exactly 6 seconds from the time that you dodge roll till the effect wears off. And you'll notice it because you get these green sparkly effects on your feet. So medium armor does help with that. And that's medium armor for you. So now on to heavy armor. Now heavy armor is what everyone prefers to use for tanking, and I can understand why, but it is not a necessity. Now, the skill you get with medium armor is immovable. Now, immovable, or with heavy armor, immovable intensifies your physical presence to gain minor or major resolve and major ward, increasing your physical resistance and spell resistance by 5,280 for 13.5 seconds. Also grants immunity to knockback and disabling effects for 5 seconds. Now, if you're playing a Nightblade and you can't get this ability, you can actually take this one and get more benefits out of it. Now, you can take a Movable Brute when you get the morph, and this one, while slotted, the stamina cost of breaking free for a disabling effect is reduced by 4% for each piece of heavy armor equipped. So that means you gain a greater cost reduction in your breaking free. And that means, like, if you're stunned or immobilized, you can break free. And you do that by doing basically an interrupt. So you block and then you attack, and your person will do it and break free. And you get 20% reduced cost in that when you have this slotted. So this is a really effective ability to have, but it's not one I would necessarily use as a tank, because you're not going to be breaking free from a lot of abilities. You're going to be blocking most of those things that do that. Now, as a DPS or something, this would be great if you're in full heavy armor. If you're not, you're still going to get 4% reduced cost from breaking free if you have this slotted. So you would have to have this on both bars or your more active bar in order to keep that effect. Next, you have Unstoppable, which the duration is increased based on heavy armor increased or equipped, and it is increased by 5% for each piece of heavy armor. So this is increased by that amount. So you got these two choices to go with. Whatever one you choose is up to you. Now remember, if you're wearing medium armor, this cost is going to be greatly reduced. Greatly reduced. In heavy armor, it's not. It's going to be whatever this says, and whatever you can get reduction out of your champion points, your class, and your racial. That's where you got to get it from. So next is your first passive, which is Resolve, which increases your physical and spell resistance for each piece of heavy armor equipped. Now remember what I told you about light armor? I was going to show you that number. This is how much you get reduced with each piece of light armor and each piece of heavy armor. So, and I think it's actually a little bit more. I think it's like 383 in spell resistance in light armor, and then it's 362 here. So you get that benefit no matter what. In heavy armor, you get increased physical and spell resistance for each piece you have equipped. Now remember, even if you're wearing light armor, you're still going to get this bonus from wearing that one piece of heavy, and even medium armor, you're still going to get this bonus from wearing one piece of heavy. Now, suggestion when it comes to wearing armor and you set up your character, I'll explain that in another video, or I explain it in another video, how to set up your gear to give you the greatest resistances, no matter what you're playing. If you're playing in light armor, heavy armor, or light, medium, and heavy armor, how to get the greatest resistances out of your armor without any points into them or without even wearing resistance gear. It's just dependent on how you set it up on your character. Now your next passive is Constitution. Now a lot of people are kind of like, well, this doesn't do anything for you except for the secondary effect. Now this one gives you increased health recovery by 4% of each heavy armor equipped. So you will get this benefit even if you're wearing just one piece. You'll still get that 4% health recovery. So you only need to put about 6% total into your champion points to get 10% health recovery with this. And then whatever your class gives you, whatever your race gives you, you'll have extra health recovery. Also restores Magica and stamina each time you are hit, but only once every 4 seconds. The amount restored is increased per piece of heavy armor equipped, starting at 186. And at 5 pieces, you have like a 900 and something points that you get back every time you're hit. Now, the more you have, the more you get back. So if you're wearing 7 pieces, it's like 1,200 and something you get back. So it's up to you on how you want to do it. I prefer just running 5 because I do like getting the Undaunted medal. Next is Juggernaut. Increases your max health per by 2% per heavy armor equipped. Now this is really good, especially if you're wearing heavy armor. Remember I told you, if you're wearing 5 pieces of heavy armor, you're going to get 10% max health. Now depending on your race and your class and all that kind of stuff, you're going to get extra health benefits. And the more health benefits you get, the more effect you're going to get from health mods, and how many attribute points you put into health on your character is going to increase your total health pool. So you can reach those marks easier to get that 30 to 32,000 health that you want to be at to make things more effective for you. Now I say 30 to 32 because that's really all you need to tank anything in this game. Anything over that is just beneficial. So, or is just a benefit. Next is Wraith. Now Wraith is going through some changes in the next update. Instead of giving 20 weapon damage, it will give 10 weapon or spell damage for 6 seconds when you take damage, stacking up to 20 times. Right now it's the 20 by 10, so you do get that right now, but it will be changing with the next update, and I just wanted to get that out there. Next one is Rapid Mending, and this one is also changing, increasing the healing received by 8%, and increases the Magica and stamina your heavy attacks restore by 50%. Now it's changing to 25%, so it's dropping down to 25%. It's not a bad change, as bad as a lot of people make it out, because you can get an extra 5% from putting into Tenacity, and that means you'll have a 30% restore when you do light and heavy attacks, and then you got to think that's still a pretty decent amount. And then if you can get reduced cost in your stamina or Magica, the greater reduced cost, the more effective your character is going to be. So that's by choice. Now you can play a DPS character in heavy armor, and they do work out. It's just a matter of your resource management and the fact that you're going to get greater resistances and you're going to get greater health while wearing heavy armor. You can DPS in it, and it does work really well. So you can tank, heal, and DPS in heavy armor. You can tank, heal, and DPS in medium armor and in light armor. But unfortunately, guys, that is the end of this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, I'd suggest hitting that like button, and if you guys want to see more videos by me, you can hit the subscribe button, and that way you guys can be notified when I post new videos. Now, I am constantly uploading new videos all the time, especially right now. I'm going to be posting up a lot of new videos because I'm going through building this thing called the ESO guide, which is going to have a lot of information in it. So, but that's it for now, guys. Until next time, have a wonderful day, and I will see you all later. Bye!